Does creating content on YouTube, does it pay you, or it doesn't pay you as a Nigerian or as an African person? They say problem is like bicycle. When you try to do something, you have problem. When you try not to do anything, you have problem. Damn if I do, damn if I don't. YouTube has shown me a different path, and I begin to ask, why? Watch till the end of this video and learn as a Nigerian person before you start creating content, or as an African person. Welcome to the Man of Thought, aka the Villain of Truth, aka the Black Panther of Nigeria. There is a subject we need to treat today. Working for YouTube, does it really merit for you to be working for YouTube or to become a content creator from Africa on YouTube space? Specifically as an individual. You see, before I decided to talk about this subject, there are a lot of things that I actually did experience. Due to the audience I have, I can know some of the channels they watch based off YouTube Studio, show you some of the things that your audience watch. And I see that most of my audiences are interested in listening to Africans speak, regardless of most of them tends to be in diaspora. I clicked on one of the channel and I saw a particular channel called Onkurodi on YouTube. And I listened to part of his subject and it says, black people are under attack. And when I listened to what he was saying, he said he has been on the YouTube space, he's one of the best content creator and the rest of it. And yet, he has not been able to make money on YouTube space. Just right now, he started making few money on YouTube. To me, I look at that particular statement, I'm like, Uncle Rudy, if you do what you have to do in life, these things wouldn't be an excuse. Maybe this is just an excuse because for me, I get a little bit irritated by constantly hearing the word black people are under attack, because if they are under attack, what are they doing to have liberation? And so I hate talking about black people under attack basically because it sounds like a victimized mindset. It doesn't look like something happening, because if you have the opportunity to have an edge over someone, majority of humans will take that opportunity. But just because you are the one on the receiving end, most of us would complain. And I said, okay, Mr. Rodi, maybe your content is not good enough. Maybe you need to work with certain people who actually understand the content space. Because he said there are certain people that when they open, other colors that when they open channel, they may not have much videos on their channel, yet the algorithm kind of help them out. But when it comes to Africans, it is a little bit different. And I'm like, I don't know about it. Have I seen something like that? Maybe. But maybe a lot of people, Africans, are actually clicking to subscribe to what else is going on in other colors, simply because Africans are majority of the population in society. Maybe not majority, but it sounds like majority. And so, I was like, on the other hand, I am going to focus on my own YouTube space and continue doing whatever I was doing. And as I started on YouTube, I started receiving payments from one of my first person who started supporting me on YouTube. Her name was Diemba. The second person was somebody, and then the third person was Rusty. I can't remember the second person. And the fourth person, and Ron and the rest of it begins to support. JT Coin from a different channel who talks about coins and the rest of it, he also was supporting me on my YouTube channel occasionally when I make video. And I've received support from a lot of people, even from too many people. But when they paid money to the account of my YouTube channel, I saw that the YouTube would deduct about 30% of the money. And so I'm like, okay, if you deduct 30% of the money, then that means I have 70%. Well, some people even told me that the 30% is that much. It is a little bit much. Let me create another PayPal account and the rest of it. But PayPal account is restricted from Nigeria, and so we can't open PayPal account. And so at the end of the day, I worked and I got my Google Access pin miraculously. And when I got my Google Access pin, I realized that they asked me, after I verified my address, verified everything, they then asked me to get what we call tax, to pay my tax. And I looked at the tax stuff in Nigeria, and I looked at it and I was like, okay, as an individual person, because I have my own private business and I don't like registering any of my business, I don't want to talk about that side. But on the aspect of tax, when it comes to Nigeria, we know some ways where things can work, how Nigeria works. And so I decided to go open tax stuff, and when I went to the tax place, tax then become mathematics. I tried to open the account online so I can register and open all my tax stuff and pay some of my tax bills and the rest of it. It was difficult, and so I went to the office. When I went to the office closer to me, they asked me to go to a different capital. That is where I'm going to see the ones that can open for individual. I'm like, oh, Maliko Sundaya. Then I remembered that while I was trying to open my YouTube channel, or while I was trying to verify my Google AdSense pin and the rest of it, I had a friend who is also a media person who told me that I can do it without actually putting my tax information. And then I used the tax information of the United States. So I could not go to that particular capital. And then when I used it, before I used it, I actually make inquiry from, ChatGPT, how does this work? And I did some research and I realized that there is no relation between Nigerian tax and theirs in the US. And since the fund is coming from the US, they are reducing the money coming into my account, all kinds of stuff. And then they said regardless, 30% of the money is going to be deducted. And so that means if you work, whatever money you make on YouTube, you are actually making 40% of the money. That, I would not lie to you, that's exactly the breaking point of it. You are receiving 40% of your money. So Google will remove another 30% from your income. So that makes it 60%. And so you have 40% left. But with that being said, I looked into it and I was like, this is kind of impressive. And it reminded me like, I had a lot of people who I wanted to help in the community, to do some stuff for them. And we have a lot of stuff we try to do in our communities for our people. And this kind of make it look like, is this a little bit discouraging? Is this what Uncle Rowdy was actually referring to? And then it occurred to my mind again. I'm like, I am never a victim of the whole situation. And I said, the best thing for me to do is to open a different channel. And so I open another channel right now, and the channel is already coming up. We call it the Court of Public Opinion. I've opened this particular channel since last year, but I was like, let me make sure I fully make one particular channel to grow. And when it grows, I can easily push for the other channel, the Court of Public Opinions channel. And it might actually make sense at the end of the day. And here's what I want to talk to all my Black African, Black Nigerians, anything you are. When you don't have a mindset of being a victim, or you don't have a mindset of saying, oh, people are taking advantage of me, no matter what people are doing, based off their own organization, I actually asked myself a question like, if not for YouTube, will I even be able to see that 40%? Just talking. Okay, let me improvise and create another channel so I can start having 80% of whatever I pull out a day. Now in a day, I most likely can put out 4 to 5 videos. I wouldn't say I'm that good, but I know every day I can pull out videos. So, but basically because of the algorithm, for it to be able to pick a particular stuff and work on it so the channel will be able to grow or stuff like that, I have to make it 2 channels so I can make more content and make it fluid. This is how I think blacks should be thinking, creating an alternative rather than complaining of, oh, this is the problem, oh, this is the problem. And it brought to my mindset, I'm like, oh, maybe I was always right when I was saying that I don't want to go to the US, because in the US most of their taxes are excessive. Right now I am seeing it in real time. But the best thing to do is, if I have to do whatever I have to do to support the people I have to support, myself, my family, my community, then what I have to do is to just create another channel. And you must be willing to work for something to make it work in the first place, because there are always going to be hindrances and stumbling blocks. You have to figure out which way to make things work for you. With that being said, before you go into YouTube, don't go into YouTube solely because you are expecting that you are going to make the whole money on earth. That's not, if that is what you're thinking, you most likely are making a big mistake. What you should be having at the back of your mind is that if I want to make this a business so I can take care of certain people and myself, YouTube is not the basic thing you need to focus on. But perhaps you think YouTube is what you have to focus on, because for me it is a little bit easier because we have other means of income and I have other things going on in my life. But for you who are just coming up, you have to consider 40% is the money you are going to make, and you have to look at it this way. As an African, if I open a business, how much will I want to make? I remembered at some point I was working for my friend. He was a barber, and we had a barbering salon then, and I was working for him. And in each work I do, my friend collect about how did he do it? 30 70. We divide the money into 3, and he collects 1, and we pay 1 for the shop, and then we have 1. So that's about maybe 35% or 40% also. So the same thing is applicable. You want to make more money than the people who work for you. It's as simple as ABC. And that's what I realized. And I'm like, that's the game. If I also want to establish business, yes, I wouldn't want to make a business where my workers will be making 50% as much as I do, because then they just make so much money and they want to leave and create their own business. So there's a system around capitalism, and then you have some tax to pay. And maybe the importance of the tax is also to take care of certain people in the society and the rest of it. We understand that certain individuals will steal from it and the rest of it, but that shouldn't be our concern. Let us ask ourselves, are we willing to do this? If you are not working on YouTube basically because of the passion of it, and you're just going there just because you hear that other people make money from it, sorry, you're on the wrong lane. With that being said, while you decide to go into YouTube, make sure you reignite yourself and you're certain, and you question yourself and you say, I hope I'm doing this basically because I'm passionate about it, not basically because I am just focusing on the money in the YouTube space. With that being said, if you haven't subscribed to my channel. Occasionally I give out words like this to advise you, and so you think about things before you take certain steps. But I appreciate the fact that I've been able to create more audience who are supportive. They are not even waiting for me to maybe my YouTube stuff to get to this particular. A lot of them support it every single time, and that's one of the benefits. The benefit for me to be able to reach out to certain audience and to be able to have people who, you know, I can have good conversations with, and they actually do care about me. To me, that's more bigger than just the capital side of it. So you must be looking at it far beyond just the money you make. You must be looking at it in the aspect of relationship, how it broadens you, and what you can learn. Along the journey of my life on this YouTube space, I've been able to learn more things from all kinds of people. And with that being said, take your life serious, and hopefully when you drop the mentality of being a victim, you would come out on the other side and you'll be a great person. With that being said, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, like and share. See you in the next video. Adios amigos. Bye bye for now.